Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Move of the Holy Spirit. I'm so excited. I hope you are too, because today we're about to be blessed, y'all. Ah, if God be for me. And we're going to be looking at the little miracles that occur if God is on our side. We're going to be looking at the story of Joseph, of course. And we're going to be focused on the things that God did for him as he moved him from being his father's favorite to becoming the second most powerful man in Egypt. What a promotion. So let's check out Brother Joseph's life. At the book of Genesis chapter 37, let me just quickly give you some gists of what happened prior to that time. So Joseph had a dream. And in this dream, he saw that his sheaf stood upright, and then the sheaves of his brothers and his father bowed to his sheaf. And he was excited. This is good news. God has a great plan for my life. And what does he do? He shares it with his brethren and his brothers. And then it sparks jealousy in their hearts because Ogade, you have 11 elder brothers, and you're coming here to tell me that you, these small rats, going to bow to you. We're all going to bow before you, meaning that we're all going to serve you. Of course, they got jealous. And then Joseph did not stop there. Had another dream. And in this dream, he saw that the sun, the moon, and 11 stars all bowed to him. And he went into eager and he shared it with his father and his brothers. This time, his father told him, let's bring this thing home. Imagine a Yoruba boy. His parents and his siblings, his older siblings, are all watching their favorite show in the sitting room. And he runs there and interrupts the show, and then he's like, guess what, guys? I had a dream. And everybody's excited. What happened? Share it with us. We're interested in this dream. Next thing he says is, I dreamt that daddy, mommy, and all of you prostrated before me, and you guys were, worshiping me and serving me. As I big rich, me, your father, I will prostrate before you. Hey, such disrespect. Who trained you? Of course, nobody's going to take that so well. But then, in verse 18 to verse 20, his father sent him to check on his brothers. I want to bring out something from that point. There is no way that his father will send him, the younger brother, to check on the elder brothers that were tending to the sheep if the father did not see something in Joseph. It means that Joseph had a level of excellence that made his father comfortable enough to trust Joseph's judgment and Joseph's assessment, such that he sent him to go and check on his brothers in the field. He wanted Joseph to go and find out, take account of what was going on with the sheep and his brothers. Now, as Joseph was on his way there, his brothers saw him, and there was already jealousy. I mean, his father was not even making it easy. He went and made him a coat of many colors. It's like your mommy goes to Lagos market and comes back with a very beautiful dress for your sister. What about you? Am I not your child? Anyway, they saw him coming from afar off and they planned. So you will not escape. So they agreed within themselves that they were going to kill him. And then Reuben heard, and he was not having it. So brother decided to disguise now and told them that, guys, instead of killing this boy, let's just toss him into the pit now. Let's toss him into the pit and, let's take it from there instead of having blood on our hands. And they agreed. But because their primary assignment at Shechem was to tend to the sheep, so he probably left to go and take care of the sheep and left his brothers there. So when Joseph came closer, they grabbed him, removed the coats that they had been eyeing, that beautiful dress that they refused to buy for all of us, and then they tossed him into the pit. And they were going to go ahead with their plan, notwithstanding what Brother Reuben had said. But then, the first miracle occurred. Judah suggested that they sell him to the Midianites instead of killing him and having blood on their hands. Judah probably did not say it because he cared about Joseph. He might have cared about him, I don't know. It was not stated. But that was the first miracle. Joseph's destiny was about to be cut short. His life was about to be cut short. And at that point in time, God stepped into the situation and turned things in favor of Joseph. It might look like a bad thing because his brothers kidnapped him. They did not stop there. They were planning to kill him. He was hearing what they were saying. They did not stop there. Then somebody now said that, okay, let us sell him to strangers who will do whatever they please with him, because a slave has no rights. He has to do whatever his master will have him do. Joseph might have been wondering if this was the end. You know, if his dream, if God's plan for his life will ever come to pass. What he did not know was that God was working behind the scene, trying to push him to his place of fulfillment. Because if Joseph had remained with his father, if he had remained with his brothers, he would never have become the person that God will have him become. He will never have become the prosperous man that God will have him become. So I like to call that miracle number 1, because God was with Joseph. And then the Midianites took him and they sold him off to Potiphar. And while Joseph was a slave, the Bible states that Joseph was a prosperous and successful man. Ha! A man that was sold off to slavery. A man that did not know anyone in the land that he was sold to. A man that was supposed to serve Potiphar. Entered Potiphar's house. God made him excel so much and find so much favor in the eyes of his master. So much so that his master put him in charge of everything he has worked for. Started from zero and now you have become a hero. Hey, rhymes. And you've made so much money, you're a comfortable man or you're a comfortable woman. And then you get one domestic help. And then just the domestic help is doing so well, and then you give that person authority over everything you have worked for. This thing is not ordinary. This thing has to be the hand of God, because I cannot see any reason why I will work so hard for my money and then put a stranger in charge of everything. That stranger can ruin me. That's what I'm going to be thinking about. And then Mrs. Potiphar came along. And then she became interested in Joseph. And before we knew what was happening, she was on Joseph like white on rice. Of course, Joseph was a handsome man, you know, but I mean, calm down, Mrs. Potiphar. Then one day she said she will not agree until Joseph lies with her. And what did Joseph do? Japa, Japa. He fled the scene and left his garments with her. Madam, keep it and eat it. I am not going to do this act of wickedness and sin against my God. Hey. Now let's understand that Joseph was taken from his comfort zone, tossed in a pit, sold into slavery, and then remain a man of integrity. And he refused to sin against God. That's a man that loves God, and that's a friend of God. Not just someone that's looking for what he can get from God, but looking for how he can please God. And then what did Mrs. Potiphar do? You know women now. Fear will no fear women. No. That's how she framed him. And of course, I mean, as a man, if you get home and you see your wife crying that, hey, you brought a servant here to come and embarrass me, he wanted to rape me, of course, I mean, it will move something in you no matter how much you trust the person. And then Potiphar tossed Joseph in the prison. At that point, you would think that, it's over for you, brother. I mean, I know you have gone through a lot and God has brought you out. But this time, prison, yeah? Kiri, that's the end though. You're not coming out again. But at that point, when it looked like all hope was lost, the prison warden put Joseph, a prisoner, in charge of all the affairs of the prison. No be juju be this. Hey, God. I mean, this story blows my mind all the time. This is what you can experience when God is with you. I know if you look at this from the point of view of, oh, he's going through a lot of trials, he's going through a lot of tribulations in life, you will dwell on that and you will miss out on the little miracles that are occurring every day in your life. As you're going from the point that you were at to where God is taking you to, if you dwell on the negatives alone and refuse to see those little miracles, you most likely will not go far. And then something happens. Two guys that were sent into prison by Pharaoh had a dream. Each had a dream. And they did not know the interpretation, of course, but as Joseph had the Holy Spirit. Joseph saw them. They were looking worried. Asked them what the problem was. They told him, gave each one an interpretation of the dream. One liked the interpretation, of course, because he was going to be put back in his position, and the other person did not like it because he was going to be hanged. And then I can imagine that cupbearer would have told Joseph that, I promise you, if this dream should come to pass and I become the cupbearer again, I will put in a good word for you. You won't rot in prison. And Joseph must have been like, oh, okay, we're still on track. Oh God, this is probably your plan. This is what you're going to use to bring me out of prison. But you see, God has more dramatic ways of doing his things. And 2 years. A whole 2 years passed by. And Oga Kobira did not remember Joseph. Wow. And then Pharaoh had a dream. And everybody in the land could not interpret the dream. That was when Brother Kobira remembered that somebody helped him to interpret his dream in the prison. And he told Pharaoh. And Pharaoh summoned Joseph. And of course, God working through Joseph, he interpreted the dream. And then, the years that the locusts had eaten was restored back to Joseph. And Pharaoh made him the second most important man in the whole of Egypt, such that he said that no man will be able to step out of his house without the permission of Joseph. Hey, what who? At that same point, he gave him his daughter. God understands. God sees you. He sees your struggle. He sees what you're going through. And guess what? Good news. He's there with you. Right there with you. Inside the pit, he's right there with you. In the prison, he's right there with you. Have you been standing for God? A woman of integrity? Keeping yourself? And then you see people that are doing all sorts of things outside. Making it. You're wondering, when is it going to be my turn? Are you a man of integrity? Standing for God in your place of work, refusing to add that extra zero. And people are making money off this thing. Nothing is happening. Keep standing. Because God is for you. If he wants to make you a billionaire, he won't just do that. Why won't he just do that? Because if he gives it to you and you're not mature enough to handle it, you will squander it. So God will take you through the school of life. He will teach you patience. He will teach you integrity. He will teach you every single thing that you need to learn. So that when you get there, you will not fall cheap. God sees you. See, your success, people are waiting for you to succeed because their own success is attached to yours. See, God is blessing your neighbor. It means that he's in the neighborhood. He will come to your own address. I mean, he loves all his children equally. He's not neglecting you. No, he's not pushing you aside. No, he's not trying to give you trauma. No. Your turn will come. But while you're waiting for your turn, there are those little miracles. Allow yourself to go through the school of life with God. Allow yourself to be taught all the subjects that are necessary. Allow yourself to pass all the tests required. So that when you have that certificate, and then you are put on the spot to defend it, you will not embarrass God. And then while you're going through the school of life, be grateful for those little miracles. I mean, look at Judah joining the rest of them to be vexed. Come on. If we want to sing the origin of Jesus Christ now, she will not say the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Just imagine, your name was always going to be a great name, and then you are jealous of Joseph. Joseph was going to save a particular generation, but your own name would be resounding the ear of men from generation to generation. You were jealous. Why? Because they did not give you coat of many colors. Because you're not your father's favorite. Because you didn't have the dream. Because God did not place the assignment of saving people from famine in your hands. If God is going to bless your neighbor, he's in the neighborhood and he's not going to skip you. If God lifts your brother, it's because he wants to put somebody in position that will be able to bless you. That's why God blessed Joseph. God took him to the point of authority. God took him to a point of becoming a very prosperous man because he wanted him to save his brothers. God has different assignments for each and every one of us. And he has a destined time for each and every one of us to make it in every area of our lives. Focus on the face you're at. Focus on those little miracles and be grateful for those little miracles. I'm going to pray the same prayer that Elisha prayed for. I pray that God will open the eyes of your understanding so that you realize that he that is for you is greater than he that is of the world. Your God is Jireh, the God that makes the provision before the need arises. That's the God you serve. So imagine how embarrassing it is to panic when you're tossed in the pit. Imagine how embarrassing it is to panic when Potiphar's wife is framing you and they are planning to send you to prison. You rejoice in the Lord. Why? Because I have Jireh on my side. And I refuse to compromise my integrity and sin against God. Why? Because I know that I'm in the school of life. God is training me for something. He's preparing me for something. And when that thing actualizes, everybody becomes my gold. Don't forget, Jireh is on your side. And he has got you. And he's never, ever let him go. Thank you very much for watching. If you've not liked the video and previous videos, please make sure you like them. If you've not subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. And I'm very grateful to every single person that has subscribed so far. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. See you on another episode of the Move of the Holy Spirit.